It all starts in the city of Jiangshao on May 20th, 2024. A new space rift appears in the skies above the city. And the Marvel Heroes division is attacking. There's even a shoppy Hulk there. Skinny as heck. Poor guy. However, a blonde girl stands at the front. Very powerful. Truly a girl full of talent. But a big bad wolf has done something truly evil. He killed a very healthy girl. He mourned that these lowly creatures called humans were resisting unnecessarily. The eradication of this entire place was only a matter of time. That was the 6-year wolf king. A golden level creature. He jumps down from the mountain and charges at the troops, killing everything. The blue-haired girl is terrified because that was a gold level creature crushing another one. The wolf king says it's too late to have realized it now. He lands a precise paw strike. But she manages to defend herself. Just then, someone steps forward and says, "I'll handle this one." Everyone starts calling out for Mr. Wuan, and it seems they trust this person. Sometime later, the very healthy and well-protected warrior says that thanks to his help, they won, obviously thanks to Mr. Wuan. However, the general on the other side of the table isn't very happy. He's certain that at the rate things are going, it'll be impossible to defend Jiangshao. He then says that things are getting risky. So starting today, all cultural classes at the academy will be suspended, and everyone will focus on combat. Meanwhile, at a school, the red-haired guy says that the loser needs to put in more effort, otherwise he won't be able to get into a martial academy just because of his cultural grades. But the boy doesn't care. He just says he'd like to be near Yan Han with his little notebook in hand. I immediately understand why the boy wants to keep an eye on this dear Lin Yan Han. Her eyes are shining, saying that graduation is coming up, and she wants to know if Subai will go to the martial academy. Behind the red book is our guide, who I believe must be the protagonist, right? A man with messy hair, a grumpy face, and 15 kilograms of muscle while still in high school. He's got to be the badass. The problem is that his family isn't very wealthy, and he never had money to afford supplements, so he doesn't have a well-developed physique or any special abilities. That's why he's hesitating to enroll in a martial academy. What makes him mad is that he came from another world. He should have a little system or something like that. Meanwhile, Yan Han is inviting him to the academy. She had a way to take him directly there. Suddenly, a little system window appears. He screams, and she tells him to keep it down. Subai's little system had tamer abilities, which, guess what, lets him make contracts with monsters and tame them. Besides that, the creatures could evolve beyond their natural limit, and the system would help locate them. But he had to prepare for an invasion of other races that was about to happen. I thought Yan Han had something to do with the system. But nope, she's just walking over, asking if he's okay because he's sweating a lot. He grabs her hand, saying yes, while everyone around is mad, telling him to get those filthy paws off the goddess's skin. The bald dude already says he's going to teach him a lesson when the next badass tells everyone to sit down. Is that the teacher? Dang, in that class, everyone's paying attention. She walks in and says she's got great news for everyone. From now on, all people with superpowers would be exempt from cultural classes and would focus only on combat. Basically, if you've got martial power, ma'am, you don't even need to know what 1 + 1 is, you're passing the year. The human calculators are already celebrating because now they'll definitely get into a martial school. Then the teacher says that anyone who is awakened in ability just needs to go to her office to register. Little Subai is still very unsure. He just awakened the system. And what if he gets himself into a ton of danger? Have you ever walked the streets? He says he's been in this world for 17 years. And in this place, in 1906, portals started appearing in the sky. Your version of 1906 has buildings and everything. Pretty advanced, huh? Congrats. Humanity's killing it here. With that, beasts began to rain down. And there was even one on top of a tentacle. Super dangerous. The creature started killing everyone. And for some reason, this guy looked more like an emoji than a person, holding his dead daughter. For 3 intense months, the army used everything they had and managed to kill the first beasts. To prevent more from appearing, the government started sending suicide missions into those portals. What they found on the other side were lands that seemed infinite. With that, the world's military forces joined together to create bases inside those places. That was when a new era for humanity began. On March 6, 1907, another rift appeared. On May 7, another rift appeared, then the 4th, 5th, 6th, and so it continued. Now these rifts are spread all over the world and connect to different beast races. So scientists named these places the battlefield of the myriad races. Myriad means tons and tons. You get it, right? Just a whole bunch. At the same time, the presence of creatures on Earth strengthened the planet, and new abilities began to appear in humans. As the battles intensified, regular weapons became increasingly useless, and the newly awakened powers became essential. And so, the fight against the races continues to this day. However, the situation in Jiangshao is becoming more dangerous than ever. Good thing the guy activated the system. At least now he'll have the strength to protect his family. And now he's made up his mind. The first step is going to a martial academy. The problem is he only has 2,000 yuan saved up and doesn't know if he'll survive. He walks into a store. remembering that the system was supposed to automatically locate suitable beasts. But so far, there's been no response. He tells the woman that he's a tamer and asks if she has any creatures available immediately. She shows him a black cat. A common beast but one that carried nether cat blood. That creature could evolve up to silver level. Which is why it costs 36 yuan. If he wanted. She also had a little 4-eared wolf that cost 33 yuan. As he keeps looking around, the prices only go up. When she turns to ask if he liked anything, he had already vanished. He's walking home, wondering why everything is so overpriced and shady just because some of these beasts have monster blood. Do they have to be this expensive? Then he gets home and says hi to everyone. And right at that moment, the system pops up a window telling him to tame a little turtle. He finds that kind of strange since he knows the only turtle around is his dad's pet. He walks over to the aquarium and sees it all twisted up. Looking like a sick, upside down thing. How could a creature like that help him with martial arts? But with no options and being broke as hell, he just decides, right, man. He clicks the tame button. The turtle is surrounded by a little golden energy and is then tamed. All of its attributes were at 1, except for defense, which was at 3, at least it had the turtle defense ability. However, it also said it had traits of a sacred black turtle and could evolve infinitely, eventually becoming capable of killing a god. He's kind of confused by that, but he's already lifting it up, saying this is exactly what he likes. That's when Xiaomi, his little sister, shows up, telling him to put the little turtle down and stop messing with Chia. But before he can do anything, the turtle jumps out of his hands and dives into the bag of pet food. He tells it to stop being greedy while Xiaomi wants to know why it's so hungry today. Subai is already sure it must be related to the system and the fact that it can evolve now. Half an hour later, Mom and Dad arrive, and for the love of God, do they have the same name? Mom Lin and Dad Lin. That guy got real creative. They walk in, looking like total goofballs because Xiaomi is running with food in her arms. Desperate, Wakio, the little turtle, is chasing after her, tongue out, starving. The parents want to know since when that turtle runs like that. And Subai says he'll explain. The house becomes a total mess. And Subai knows he's making life harder for his family, which obviously wasn't easy to begin with. I'm going to call this pet Tortuga because, let's be real, Chinese stories always end up with 36 people named Xiao, and we won't know who's who. He was there, feeling bad, when suddenly a huge aura bursts out of the creature. Right then, he's sure it must be the dormant bloodline awakening inside her. The next day, he comments that Tortuga is eating like crazy. But since that bloodline surge, nothing else has happened. He goes back to the same store and tries to offer the turtle. After all, that little devil is eating everything. A guy nearby hears about an exotic beast. The guy is the boss and tells the girl to step aside. He'll handle it. He immediately calls the kid over for a talk and asks about the quality of the exotic beast. I didn't really get it. Did the guy sniff something and just know whether the beast was exotic or not? I'm a little lost here. But immediately he realizes it's valuable and asks how much the kid wants for it. Subai wants to sell it for 100 yuan flat. Barely enough to cover what the thing ate. The guy offers him 1.000. And Subai yells in shock at the price. But the man interprets the shout as if Subai was offended by the lowball offer. So the guy apologizes and says that, really, with such good quality, he'll offer at least 10.000. Subai lets out an even louder scream. And the guy ups it to 15.000. Saying that's the most he can do. Now our boy is shocked. He had no idea Tortuga was worth that much. He was having a hard time hiding his smile and accepted the deal. I think the beast is in that little cup or something. I'm still confused about where the monster actually is. But now he's already walking down the street. And the guy says that if he ever has something good again, he should bring it back. Man, I really didn't think he was going to be able to sell it. I thought there'd be a plot twist like your beast is connected. And I have just given the creature the name Tortuga. And it got sold 10 minutes later, man. Come on, my name meant nothing. Then our guy gets a phone call from the teacher, saying that some academy results had come out. He was curious to know. But it seems the signal is cutting out. Just then, the system pops up and says that 3 malicious humans were approaching. -10 meters away, and he should be cautious. As soon as he looks back, he sees the guys coming. The deodorant head already tells the kid to hand over everything, or he's going to get beat up. Humble Subai calls them big bros and says he's got nothing, he was just there to sell. Not to buy anything. Yeah, and you said you had money. You clown. But he's mad at himself. If only he were a warrior. He wouldn't be afraid of these guys. Dude, the translator trolled me because Tortuga's actually still in his hands. So that changes everything. You didn't sell him. Thank goodness I gave the creature a name. Right now, it makes sense. And he already sends the beast spinning into the bald guy's head. But the guy manages to block with his mace, still. At the same time, he lets out a scream. That's because Subai nailed him with a kick right in the jewels. The guys call for their boss while our boy is already running, asking if Tortuga is okay. They were about to beat him down, but the kid seems calm with Tortuga in hand. He turns around and lands a shell uppercut at the same time. He dodges the next guy and smacks the back of his neck. Yeah, Tortuga took a straight punch in that scuffle too. Dude doesn't stop, grabs a hand, and slams it into another guy's face. Yeah, this isn't really how you picture the protagonist of a tamer story using their beast. But hey, it's working, and Subai says it's their fault for showing up and threatening him like that. Then he sees Tortuga climbing on one of the guys and grabbing a big old crystal. Before he could say anything, the creature had already devoured the whole thing. Turns out it was a gold quality potion, and the little turtle drank it all. The problem is that one was high grade. Normally, it takes a warrior fighting daily an entire month to use one up. And that's why Tortuga is now suffering on the ground. But Subai also feels something strange. His strength is rising at the same time as the monsters. Now he's got 12 agility and 16 physical. Of those 16 points, 10 were his own natural stats, and 6 were being inherited from the turtle. He doesn't stop leveling, already up to 32. On top of that, Tortuga is getting a little swole. Fellas, and Subai is amazed by all these attributes. He remembers learning in school that even the best beasts would only give a maximum of 30 status points at high levels. He gives the little turtle some pats and says it's time for them to go back. At the university, the big teacher lady says the results have come in. The lovely Yanran wants to know if he's going to the humanities university or the martial one. Our boy immediately says he's now motivated to go to the martial one. But she seems a bit shocked that he's suddenly so fired up. She says it's dangerous since it's basically a battlefield, and he could end up getting killed. He says it doesn't matter, there are people he needs to protect. So it's a job that has to be done. Yan, this girl is definitely crushing. Starts wondering if she's the one he wants to protect. The teacher then asks if she's made up her mind. And kind of awkwardly, she says, not yet. The teacher says she understands that this is an important decision for each of them. So they should come with an answer tomorrow. A while later, at Yanran's house, she's unwrapping a gift. She jumps in the bath. And this girl must be loaded cuz she's even got flowers in the tub. She's calling Subai, saying that because of him, she decided to also go to the martial university. He's been cleaning up Tortuga's poop all day and asks if she's sure. She says yes. He congratulates her and says he has to hang up cuz he's got stuff to deal with. Then he starts scolding Tortuga. Now we're at the university. A woman announces that instructor Jean Ka is going to say a few words. The guy walks in, already dropping bad news, saying that last year, 126 students enrolled. Out of those, only 65 are still alive. From the year before that, there were 100 students, and only 30 remain. If you go back 3 years, there were 86 students, and only 10 are still alive. Man, stop killing everybody already. He says he's not trying to scare anyone, but they need to understand the seriousness and danger of entering this university and what awaits them. Yan is standing there next to a boy, looking like she just realized she made a huge mistake. Girl, you don't follow the guy blindly. Meanwhile, the rest of the students seem all hyped up, saying, you're going to get strong and save humanity. All right then, good luck with that. Just then, the teacher came to call for Subai. Our boy, confused, wanted to know why the guy wanted to speak with him directly. Jean Kai said that he had been selected for direct admission into the university. The clueless kid didn't understand why, while the other students whispered that he must have some powerful connections. But in the very next scene, he's already at the martial university, and people are saying hi to him. In the middle of the campus stands a gigantic monument. The woman then calls everyone over, saying she'll show them around the dorms and accommodations. A while later, he arrives at room 303, which will be his. Inside, the red-haired guy is talking about how his dad acquired 3 drops of blood from an extremely rare beast. Just then, Subai shows up, introducing himself and greeting everyone. The question is, are these guys going to be chill or total jerks? The redhead introduces himself as Hang Jae Gang and welcomes him. Since they all look like total goofs, we already know they're going to be friends, right? The big guy is Taya Jun, and the bald one is Fan Chowan. Jae Gang tells our guy to relax with the formalities and invites him to check out the beast blood. The guys are saying it's exotic beast blood bought in the city of Wang. Now it makes sense. It looks like what our boy sold the other day might have been his own beast's blood. And he's starting to wonder if that's exactly what it was. Jae Gang is bragging, saying that a single drop of beast blood is worth over 30 yuan. Which means the thing in his hand is worth no less than 100k. Poor Subai just realized he totally got ripped off. That's when everyone starts shouting that a goddess just arrived at the dorm downstairs. The woman is yelling that this is the men's dorm. So who is she looking for? The guys in room 303 all have their faces stuck to the window, saying a new goddess has appeared. So who is it? It's that girl from Yanghai. Looking for our boy. Girl, can you put on a battle outfit or something because your outfit's barely hanging on there, you're peculiar. Huh? Downstairs, she's yelling Subai's name, telling him to come out. She says a beautiful girl is looking for him. With that, our boy waves goodbye to his friends, who are all stunned. Now they're wondering if a demigod just joined their crew. Downstairs, she tells him that he looks really cool in his new uniform. She immediately touches his shoulder, saying he looks way too handsome. This girl plays the game. Meanwhile, the whole university is throwing cans and bottles at our guy. This girl looks huge from that angle and asks if he's mad that she got in the direct admission. Now it all makes sense, she pulled strings because she's loaded. Subai says it's fine, he planned to take the exam but was pretty sure he would pass anyway. He even pats her head. And that's when she hands him some cultivation items, saying it'll help him during tomorrow's entrance exam. I've never seen a protagonist this spoiled by a wife. And he's even saying he doesn't need all that. But she already said goodbye, telling him she hopes he does great tomorrow. The whole building now wants him dead. As soon as he walks into the room, the guys are totally different. They sit him in a chair, start giving him a massage, saying he's incredible, really the pride of the dorm. Jae-gang cuts to the chase, saying that if he's friends with that goddess, she must have some friends too. And he better introduce all of them, since it's their first day as new brothers. They're going out for dinner tonight. Before Subai can say no, the guys are already leaving, saying they'll be waiting for him. He pulls Tortuga out of the bag and thinks these guys are totally nuts. But he's curious to see what Yanran brought him. There's a blood-strengthening item, which is, once again, perfect for Tortuga to eat. A bit later, he's thinking this restaurant is way too fancy. But Jae-gang says it's a day to celebrate, especially since they just got into Marshall University and met some great brothers. Our guy then explains that he used to go to school with Yanran, and that's why they're friends. But now he needs Jae-gang's help with something. The guy wants to know what for. And that's when Subai shows a bunch of exotic beast blood. Where did that come from? He says he wants help selling it. Jae-gang is certain that this is a higher rank than the one he has. The guy is impressed, saying that not only is it a rare type, but there's also a large quantity of it. He tells Subai he'll help. The only problem is he doesn't have the skills to properly judge its value. He calls his dad, who answers the phone, already scolding him, asking if he burned through his entire allowance again. But he tries to explain it's not like that. He's involved in serious stuff now. His friend has 7 drops of extremely rare beast blood and wants to sell. But he needs his dad's help to appraise it. The dad is shocked to hear 7 drops of something even rarer than what he knows and asks if he's sure. Once the kid confirms, the dad immediately asks for the address. An hour later, the dad arrives with an old man to do the analysis, who says that just from a glance, he's already sure this is an extremely refined beast blood. A single drop of it could be used to craft a high-quality pill. The father asks if the old man isn't exaggerating, but the elder insists he's not. He's using the best instrument available and has experience. This stuff is worth a lot. Jae-gang compliments our boy, saying he never expected him to be walking around with a treasure like that. Now the old man wants to know how much he wants for it. Subai says he knows this has no fixed price and that all he really needs are pills and elixirs to grow stronger. Jae-gang's father says that since he's his son's friend, he won't scam him. He'll take the 7 drops and, in exchange, give him 14 bottles of a powerful key enhancer. On top of that, if Subai wanted, he could even join the Hang family. And in the future, they could supply more resources for his cultivation if needed. But Subai, unbothered, just refuses, saying he's good and not interested in joining any group. The guy tries to insist when suddenly someone in the room shouts that he doesn't want to. It's our girl Yan, wearing an outfit even better than last time, saying he's not joining any other family. The overpowered beauty even asks if they didn't hear her right. Everyone in the room is confused, not sure what she's even doing there. Then the old man whispers something to the master, something we don't hear, but the guy breaks into a cold sweat. In the blink of an eye, he changes his tone and says that this is all a misunderstanding. It's just that Subai and his son are friends. Yan, however, ignores the guy and heads straight to our boy, asking if he wants to head back to school together. He just says, sure, and next thing you know, she's pulling him away as he waves goodbye to the crew. Poor Jae-gang was about to call her a goddess and say he was coming along too. But his dad tells him he'd better head home. He also tells his son to get along with Subai. The future of the Hang family depends on him. Also, it'd be smart to be respectful to that girl Yan and stay the hell away from her. 2 days later, the day of the university's entrance training finally arrives. And apparently, their first training session already involves fighting monsters. Now we understand why everyone dies. They send the kids straight into combat on day 1. Jean Kai says 50 people will form Class A and each class will have a bronze-level instructor who will assign training tasks. As always, Yanran is already clinging to our boy and his little group. Then a redhead speaks up and tells Class 8 to gather. To be honest, she's not bad at all. But let's be real, Yan is on another level. This redhead is Leo Yuxin, the instructor for this special training. All the simps are already falling in love. And honestly, I don't even blame them. Then she gives the first task right away, naturally. Everyone's shocked. Definitely not the kind of first task I expected. But she just says they should be at the teleport station at 8 AM tomorrow. And they better bring a will with them. Yan says she has a plan and, for now, she'll just go back to the dorm. She says goodbye and tells them they'll talk tomorrow. Back in the dorm, the guys say that since there's nothing to do, they should go have fun. But Subai says he's busy today, they can go without him. Then Jae-gang gives a few light taps on Tortuga, saying that this turtle of his is weird, its shell is tough as hell. Our boy doesn't really respond, and so his friends say goodbye. As soon as they leave, He pulls out several elixirs for Tortuga to consume. With that, his beast keeps ranking up. At the same time, he's leveling up too. He even unlocks a new skill. Heavy Strike. It costs energy to land a stronger hit. Honestly, nothing too fancy. But the important part is the more Tortuga levels up, the more stats it gains. And the more stats our boy inherits. He's already excited to see what his performance will be like on the battlefield. The next day arrives, and a crowd gathers in front of the portals. The first one's activated, and the protagonist group heads in. Yanren tells him to be careful, this place is extremely dangerous. But he tells her not to worry, he's sure everything will go fine. And with that, they step through the portal. On the other side, they find themselves at a massive military base. Everyone's all smiles until someone yells for them to shut up. Leo Yuxin welcomes Commander Litao and says, "Everyone here is a beginner." The guy introduces himself as commander of base F-269 and says he doesn't care if you're a student, instructor, or just arrived in this place. Everyone follows his orders. J-Gang is a little smug, saying this guy thinks he's all that. But Subai says not to joke around. This guy's got a huge scar on his face and probably a ton of combat experience. Then they get their first mission. Head to the battlefield and clean everything out. These students don't seem to realize it, but the reason everyone dies at the school is really obvious. The commander explains they'll have to kill shadow cats to earn merit points. These points can be used at the university store to grow even stronger. Everyone seems pumped about this idea of farming and leveling up. Leo walks off, saying it's always nice to see young people eager for action. Everyone's hyped, including Subai, but a bad feeling that's about to change. On their way to the combat zone, they start passing by people with missing limbs, eyes, and more, and it seems the worst part is that all of them were injured by shadow cats, which are supposedly the weakest creatures. Yeah, this world's kind of hardcore. Huh? This place is set on maximum difficulty. Yuxin tells everyone to shut up and follow her. Then Yanren turns to the boys and says she wants him right by her side. Glued to her, because nothing can happen to him. A guy standing up on the gate then announces that they killed 35 creatures today and will now follow the captain's orders. He commands the gates to be opened, and Yuxin tells everyone to get ready. Leo himself would be leading them, which was an extremely rare opportunity. This university is starting to look more like a military draft for the front lines. Outside, it's already chaos with wolves, tanks firing, and a full-blown fight. One of the guys turns around to greet Litao, but the captain tells him to skip the formalities and just follow a squad that's currently training. Yuxin explains that they're in zone F-269, and they'll be entering an area where everything has already been cleared. Their mission is to extract beast cores from creatures that have already been killed. He asks if they're ready, and they all shout, "We're ready, Captain." Someone even jokes that there's nothing dangerous about cleaning up the battlefield, which obviously means it's extremely dangerous, and half of them are going to die. Yuxin is thanking Litao for his presence. She's clearly very interested in the captain, trying to climb the ranks in other ways, let's say. Meanwhile, in the imperial capital of the Dragon Nation at the Central Command Zone, a man in a room is receiving word that countless creatures are beginning to invade the front lines. And apparently, 12 gold-ranked shadow cats were joining the monster's forces. The man says he understands and tells them to alert all bases to prepare for defense. Meanwhile, back at F-269, the group is arriving at the field where all the beasts are already dead. Our boy and Yan are collecting everything while she gives him a little lesson, explaining that the beast parts can be used to make all kinds of elixirs. He's happily stashing them into his inventory, knowing they'll be perfect for feeding Tortuga later. Then suddenly, an extreme danger warning pops up. 164 shadow cats are approaching. Immediately, he jumps up in shock, and Yanren asks what's wrong. He runs to the instructor and tells her they're in danger. A massive group of cats is on its way. But she looks around and doesn't see anything, so she snaps that this is a serious battlefield, not the place for telling jokes. He insists, saying the creatures could appear any moment. Litao asks if he's that kid Subai. He tells him he can sense creatures up to 2 kilometers away, and he's not detecting anything. Our boy stays persistent, saying hundreds of cats are coming. Leo asks if he's trying to claim that his detection ability is stronger than his. As always, Yuxin, trying to rise in rank, says there's no one with better detection than Litao. Yan, thankfully, trusts our boy and says she's sure he wouldn't lie about something like this. Subai pleads with them to believe him. He's a beast tamer, and one of his talents is being able to sense crises. Since he entered by recommendation, his skills weren't registered, but he promises he can be trusted. That's when everyone's expression changes. They see a group of soldiers fleeing toward them, screaming for everyone to form a defensive formation. They shout that an army is coming, and everyone needs to run back to the base. Litao, clearly out of his mind, thinks he can hold back all the beasts alone. But Yuxin speaks up, telling the truth. They need to retreat, or everyone will die. He orders another guy to protect the students while he and a few others would buy them time. That's when the first level 1 shadow cat appears, right behind it. Dozens more, and the battle breaks out. But that one guy didn't last a second, he got smashed. At least Leo was stronger and helped hold the defense line. The The problem is some of the cats broke through and headed straight for the students. I've said it before, but now it's more obvious than ever. This is exactly why everyone in this university dies. They're behind a barrier, but I'm pretty sure it won't be enough. Suddenly, 2 blue meteors crash into the creatures. An archer named Zhang Mani and a buff dude named Liu Yang had arrived. Yuxin seems to relax, saying they've received solid reinforcements. Subai, however, is noticing something weird. Everyone's admiring the arrival of Mani the archer. But there's a dude literally being devoured by a kitten on the ground. Suddenly, everyone covers their ears. A sound echoes from the forest. From within the trees, a shadow approaches. It's the Cat King, a gold-ranked beast. Leo is terrified, wondering why a creature of that level is showing up here. He knows he has to fight, it's the only chance they got. But Yuxin already knows they're screwed. In an instant, the monster dashes past and sends the archer goddess flying. Everyone starts firing desperately, but the monster advances again, this time right at Litao. And then something hits it, a clean strike right in the cheek. It's Tortuga, who had been summoned. Everyone's confused, but J-Gang obviously recognizes it immediately. Subai steps forward, realizing how odd Tortuga's arrival was, and then introduces himself as a beast tamer and says Tortuga is his creature. Everyone was supposed to hold off the other creatures while he tried to finish off the king. Yan was emotional, seeing our boy's little beast in action. And our guy was confident, he sent Tortuga straight to the front lines by itself. Leo didn't expect the kid to have such a strong beast. Yuxin gave the order for everyone to take advantage of the distraction and clear the other monsters. Then go help the kid. The problem was that Tortuga was quickly pinned to the ground. But what Leo didn't expect was that this ain't just a turtle. The boss went in for a clean attack on the shell only to lose a claw. He ended up faceplanted in the dirt. Staring in disbelief, Leo was shaken. No normal beast should be able to withstand a hit like that. But in that chaos, he saw an opening to strike the monster's weak point. He jumped on the beast, he knew its weak spot was the abdomen. With the creature distracted by Tortuga, he landed a clean hit on its back. The beast howled in pain but quickly launched him across the field again. Still, the guy was fired up, he got up and charged again. Meanwhile, Subai told Tortuga that it was time for the finishing move. People weren't really sure what he meant. But based on how fast he moved, you already know what's coming, right? He kicked the turtle dead center, right into the tiger's ribcage. Leo was stunned, he'd hit the exact weak spot of the monster. The boss tried to get back up, but his legs were wobbling like noodles. Everyone started celebrating and relaxing because, finally, that rat king, Cat King, was dead. And Yan, she went in for a lethal hug attack on her boy, girl. Dangerous move. Everyone was amazed, complimenting him, saying it was incredible, some even saying they wanted a turtle like that. But Subai got distracted, he didn't notice that Tortuga had grabbed the boss's golden crystal. Before he could say anything, the little beast had already eaten it, and the sky suddenly changed. Back at the operations base, they detected a massive new wave of creatures approaching. That tomato suit guy, Wuan, told the general they needed to send reinforcements immediately to that region. They had at most 20 minutes. Or everyone there would be dead. The general was rattled. If they lost that front line, the entire city could fall. Then, in the sky, an eye appeared, saying that the human species was foolish. It descended to the boss's corpse and declared they were done for killing his child. The monster's body was consumed, and everyone stood in confusion. Once again, Subai got a warning window of extreme danger. And then the creature appeared, a mix of cat, tiger, goat, and dragon. Yeah, this thing had everything. It was a gold-ranked monster with berserker abilities. People were throwing themselves to the ground, crying to go home. They said they couldn't fight anymore. But Litao was eager to discover that. Yeah, he's not the protagonist here because, yep, he took a hit to the chest and went flying like a fool. The monster went in to finish him, but Tortuga jumped in front and blocked the blow. Well, didn't block for long cause it took a huge hit to the back. And its shell cracked, and Subai took collateral damage too. Turns out, when you inherit your beast stats, you're connected, and that might not always be a good thing. The instructors were confused, but Leo figured it was probably due to his beast tamer talent. Then the system explained the damage was split between the two, so they could both survive, half a hit for Subai, half for Tortuga, and no one died. The professor leaned in real nice to help our boy, who was basically laid out on a luxury pillow. That's Subai's move, huh? Always getting the win out of nowhere. This lucky punk. Then Yuxin ordered everyone to attack and buy time for Subai. The boss, however, just laughed and said they were nothing but ants. The group charged anyway, but Yuxin realized it was going to go south fast. The creature slipped past her and was heading straight for Yan and Subai. But then an explosion occurred, and she was confused while Subai just sat there, not moving his face an inch. And Yan, she's way too close, smiling like crazy, not jealous. Not jealous at all. Turns out that golden crystal Tortuga 8 had finally been fully absorbed. And it had leveled up to bronze tier. He's still tiny, but now he's got a massive aura coming off him. Everyone was shocked by the beast's evolution. So Subai got up, all chill, done with his pillow moment. Then he ordered Tortuga to charge in. Just from the turtle's aura, the boss got smacked back midair. Everyone was confused. How was a beast from a rookie tamer doing that to a gold-tier boss? The monster managed to land on its feet, drag itself across the ground, and let out a roar, saying that today, everyone here would die. It activated its berserker mode and, at the same time, started spawning a bunch of cats from inside its body. But Tortuga was holding the front line. The problem was those little kittens slipped under his legs and started slaughtering people from behind. Until suddenly, Tortuga roared a golden roar that echoed through the entire area. It was a magnetic ability, drawing all the nearby creatures toward his mouth. What was that? He devoured everything just like that. Subai wasn't even impressed. He just told the monster not to stop and to use its full power. He used the energy from all the cats it had devoured to unleash a golden barrage. The laser swept through half the forest while everyone covered their faces. And the cat got completely vaporized. When Wuan, aka Tomato Pants, arrived right at that moment, stunned that things looked like they were over, Leo was giving orders to tend to the wounded and go help Yan, who said she was fine. Judging by how formally he addressed her, I'm guessing she's the daughter of that guy back at Central Command in the fancy white uniform. Then Lidhao explained the whole situation, saying they had killed over 100 cats. Biha, that's a strong word. My guy, there's a name for the one who actually did that. But when Wuan couldn't believe they killed a gold-tier creature, he asked Subai directly if it was really him. Our boy, all humble, says it wasn't just him, it was a group effort. Right away, the guy claps a hand on his shoulder, asking if, after graduation, he'd like to join the Jiangshao fortress. Bet that place is 10 times more dangerous, where for every 100 that go in, half don't come back. Subai, still kind of dazed, says he hasn't decided yet. Wuan then gives the order to evacuate the whole group and return to base. Next thing you know, we're back at the portal area, and Lidhao is just there, standing next to the head instructor. Bit by bit, this lady's winning my heart. I'll admit, she says, Subai truly has incredible potential. Speaking of him, yep, there he is. I like how in this story, he's always drawn next to Yan, makes the whole thing just nice to look at. And they've even set up welcome signs for the heroes. Instead of holding up signs, maybe go out there and help. You lazy punks, look at this. They're even bringing flowers while the poor guy's hobbling in on crutches with one leg. And as always, everyone's praising Subai. Back at the dorm, the boys are saying the bed feels super soft tonight cuz they all know that, based on their participation in today's fight, they'll be receiving merits and honors. And obviously, now they're all fans of Tortuga, who's snoozing peacefully on the floor, dreaming about kissing a Tortuguetta. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. J Gang tells them to quit it and goes to check. When he opens, he's shocked. Out of nowhere, the elite squad of goddesses appears. It's their upper-class women, bringing rewards for the amazing performance. The one in front already asks which one of you is Subai. Of course, our boy wasn't going to say no, he let them all in right away. But then Baldy Chan said Subai had gone out for a walk. That left the hotties, the ladies, totally disappointed. They were there for the kid. So where was he? Within seconds, they all waved goodbye and left, leaving the poor guy completely clueless. Meanwhile, our boy was out on his morning jog. As usual, he's got no shortage of women in his life. He doesn't need to chase after anymore. During training, someone announced that yesterday, countless races had attacked various human provinces. Many locations didn't survive since gold-tier creatures appeared. But there was one base that held a line in the region of Jiangshao, haha. Yep, at the base of the legend himself. Subai, our boy is there thinking, man, isn't it a bit too soon to be broadcasting this? Everyone's already celebrating, saying it's an honor to have a first-year student like him. While he's realizing this is about to get messy, he hides behind a wall and gets a call from his sister, saying it's amazing that he's on TV now. The parents are praising him too, neighbors are even talking about him. Information in this world travels like a flashbang, 1 second it's secret. Next thing, everyone knows, sounds like they're all missing their boy and ask him to call more. A while later, he visits his parents, but when he arrives, there's a whole crowd waiting for him. His sister runs up, thrilled to celebrate. I don't know why, but this feels like that scene when the hero saves the whole world, comes back to Earth, and everyone loves him. Except this was literally the kid's first real battle. Now the townsfolk with daughters, they all want to introduce their girls to our boy. Back at home, he's exhausted. It was hard escaping from that crowd. His mom tells him to relax, his dad's cooking tonight. He collapses on the couch. Finally some peace. Until dang, a system window pops up. A new compatible creature has been found. Its name, Little Kitty. He asks his sister if they recently picked up any animal around the house. Of course, they did. It's in the same food bowl Tortuga used. Looks like the secret is in the food bowl. Huh? She's petting the little thing, saying, it's so cute, and that she found it lost in the street. Subai realizes his sister's already super attached, which might make this a little complicated. But the system was showing that the creature had incredibly powerful white tiger blood. In the same instant, his sympathy for his sister went out the window, and he clicked tame without hesitation. Subai put a hand on her shoulder and said, "I'm a beast tamer, can I keep the kitten?" Of course. She immediately refused. She said, "You already stole Tortuga, you're not taking my little animal too." He tried to negotiate, but she took off running, shouting that there was no way she was giving it up. So the two of them ended up chasing each other all over the house. 2 days later, he was already heading back to the university with 2 beasts on his back. Tortuga's all cheerful, saying, "There's no need to worry, he runs the place now." But the kitten already wants to kill him. Everywhere Subai walked, people asked if he was the guy who received a gold medal. And worst of all, right when he was walking through campus, an announcement came over the speaker, calling Subai to the principal's office. The poor guy doesn't get a second to breathe. You know how they say when you're starving, your brain goes numb? Well, this poor guy can't even catch a break. At the office, the chunky mustached man was full of praise, saying Subai was a pride of Haxia for his outstanding performance, he'd be allowed to choose a reward. But Subai wasn't dumb, he already heard this guy was a stingy scumbag. So first, he started buttering him up, saying all of his achievements were thanks to the school, which is a total lie, right? Because on day 1, they already sent him off to die. He said he didn't want much, just asked if they could provide 100 gold beast cores. The guy immediately said it'd be easier for him to become the principal and give him all that. So Subai asked for 50 silver tier cores instead. Even then, the chubby man told him to get real, he'd never get a fraction of that. He said, "A powerful student like you should understand the strong must protect the weak." Subai cut the speech short, told him to drop the sweet talk, and said, "Give me 50 silver cores." For someone who was just trying to butter the guy up, he was roasting him real quick. The man said the most he'd give was 10, but Subai insisted on no less than 20. They settled on 15, and the deal was done. The principal was pissed. This new student had barely arrived and was already bargaining like a pro. Then he added that there was another matter Subai needed to be aware of. The school had chosen him to be the freshman representative for this year's league competition. Poor guy, he just got there, hasn't even trained properly, and this isn't fair, but the McDonald's shareholder just said he had no choice and he better bring glory to the school. So Subai tried to get out of it, saying the competition is full of high-ranking people and wouldn't be easy. But the fat guy didn't care, told him to stop being shy and go back to his room to get ready. With no options, our boy had to leave. Meanwhile, the big man grumbled that this new generation is getting too clever. Sometime later, Subai stood in front of the other students. They were told the 100 schools tournament was organized by the military group. And the hope was for everyone there to give it their best. The glasses guy was a 3rd year, a mid-level Earth-type ability user. Everyone looked pumped, while Subai stood in the back with a total loser face. There was one girl up front on the right that looked kind of like a bootleg Yanran. The professors whispered that the competition was super unfair because their university was founded much later and received way fewer resources, unfortunately. Freshmen were always at a disadvantage. After reading off all the names, the big guy said he'd now announce something important. Subai would be the team captain. Of course, Subai tried to refuse immediately. He didn't even know why he was there, let alone how to be captain. And everyone else started complaining too, saying the guy had 0 experience. And it made no sense. They all wanted the 3rd year to be captain. He had competed many times and was extremely talented. But the big man told them to shut it because Subai defeated a gold tier creature. Something not even their current captain had done. Now everyone was ready to jump Subai, and he stood in the back, apologizing, saying he had nothing to do with this. The principal left, saying the students could sort out themselves. He only cared about the final results. Meanwhile, Subai was already running away. No way he was getting involved with these lunatics. The others figured that if he was fleeing like a coward, he must have cheated to beat the gold-ranked beast. Later, in his dorm, he brought some good food for his 2 pets. The moment he tossed something out, the 2 beasts started fighting. Poor Tortuga was already angry. The kitten was stealing all the elixirs. Now we need to name the kitten, right? Can't keep calling it the cat forever. Do you guys remember that apocalypse story? The one with the guy who had the power of the void? He had a white cat named Rice. So yeah, let's give this one the same name, Rice it is. And our boy is starting to feel a little down about investing so many resources into Tortuga. That's because he evolved too much after absorbing that golden core. And now, no matter how much he uses, the damn thing won't level up. But with no better option, he starts dumping everything he got from the principal into him. Finally, after consuming tons of elixirs, he starts glowing gold, which meant another evolution was on the way. But over at the university, everyone felt a strange chill from the quake. And now Tortuga had advanced to mid-bronze tier. Even Subai's own level went up with it. And he already had 568 physical. Which is insane, considering even the gold-ranked boss didn't have that much. The kitten evolved too, though he was still a bit weak. Agility was his highest stat, sitting at 80, but for Subai, everything was perfect. 2 evolutions in 1 day. That's just too good, since both pets gained a bunch of attributes. He also inherited a ton himself. Now all that was left was to head to the university competition and show what he was capable of. The list of all participants was announced. And the scene shifts to the university library. To get a book there, you had to spend credit points. That's not a problem for our guy. Right? The librarian didn't deny the request. And he was already walking the aisles, looking for something useful. In one of the books, he found the name Lu Fan, a name he had heard before. He started reading. There was talk about converting heaven and earth. The undying soul, armed beasts. On one page, he found something about a confluence of origin. And he said he'd already mastered that technique. What he really wanted to understand was this talk about the immortal soul and sacred beasts. Nearby, some guys were watching and saying, "There's no point in a tamer reading books. They won't learn anything no matter how much they study." But Subai didn't care. He kept digging into the story of Lu Fan. It looked like he was a combat legend who died after being surrounded by hordes of beasts. Suddenly, the whole book lit up gold, and Subai immediately went to the front desk, saying he'd be taking that book. But when the attendant tried to scan it, they realized it wasn't registered in the library system. She tried to open it, but it felt like the book was sealed shut. He grabbed it and showed that he could open it. "It's just fine," she shrugged and said. "Whatever, you can take it. Bring it back when you're done." "Yeah, but she's sneaky." She called the principal right after and told him that Subai had taken the special book. The guy was in disbelief that Subai had managed to open those pages. But she said not to worry, she saw it with her own eyes. Now the old man's thinking maybe the person Lu Fan had been waiting for all this time has finally arrived. 2 weeks pass. The day of the 100 Schools League competition has arrived. In Jiangshao province alone, over 8 schools were participating. There were live streams and real-time broadcasts going on. Obviously, every time groups passed each other, they were throwing shade left and right. The whole stadium was ready, just like a football field. And Yuxin asked if everyone was ready for today's fight. The only problem was the most badass of them all hadn't shown up yet. But no worries, he showed up. Yuxin mentioned he took too long, and now they had to prepare a strategy for today. He told her to relax, he'd been thinking about this for a while already. Leo was then announcing to the crowd. But honestly, I don't know if they were just too lazy to draw the audience or if the stadium was actually empty. I think they just didn't feel like drawing a full crowd because no matter what angle you look from, it seems like 15 people are watching. Even so, Leo was all fired up, saying the official opening was about to begin. The event would feature team versus team matches, 5 versus 5, and first up, they were announcing the groups that would fight. It looked like their team was matched up against King University right away. The chubby principal asked if Subai had already decided who would fight. Subai said yes, he himself would go, and the others could sort it out on their own. The third-year student chimed in, saying they should analyze the other team and build a group that could counter their lineup. But Subai, well, how would he even know which team belongs to which university? So he just told them to trust his plan. The principal told Subai to at least let the seniors shine a bit, otherwise they'd all get sad. Meanwhile, in the arena, Siming Martial University had already won the first round. The head teacher told Subai to get ready, it was their turn. He walked forward, telling them to watch closely. Now the squad was entering the stage with Giant Yan alongside them. I thought it was going to be 5 versus 5, but apparently, the first matches were 1-on-1. Immediately, the other guy recognized him as the legendary Subai, the one who defeated the gold-tier creature. He activated some kind of stone arm ability and said Subai would now witness true power. Meanwhile, our boy is just there, pulling Tortuga off his back. The opponent walked over, asking if this was the tamed beast he brought. Up in the stands, people thought it was a joke, like, seriously, who brings a tiny turtle from home to a place like this? The teacher, on the other hand, wants to know why he's holding a can of Coke in his hand. Meanwhile, in the arena, our boy is saying that Tortuga better not embarrass him after all the golden cores he's eaten. As soon as the beast activates its aura, a golden light shoots to the sky, and it begins to take its true form. Now, finally, it transforms into the black turtle shape. Obviously, the expressions of the 16 spectators change immediately. His dorm buddies can't understand how Tortuga got so big, while Yanran is anxious to see our boy perform. And with just one move from the little beast, it's over. One slap to the confused fool sends him flying to the ground. He immediately realizes he has no chance. Our boy tells him to try and hold out a little longer, or else it won't be any fun. The guy stands up, saying that Brad is still arrogant. He says he may have been caught off guard, but he still has his trump card and will surprise Subai. His whole body gets coated in stone, and he charges at the turtle, only to take another slap and get launched across the arena again. He jumped at Subai instead. Right, fool? While Subai's friends are in shock, people in the stands are saying that the guy from Martial University must be a weakling. They complain the turtle's paw is huge and slow, so why can't he dodge it? Chowan, though, is still standing there with his jaw on the floor. The next match is announced. Zangon enters the stage. This one's from King University, and that place is full of fierce goth girls. Unfortunately, she's about to get wrecked by Tortuga. She's using all of her speed to dodge with style while looking for an opening to attack Subai. People notice that this girl is way faster than the previous guy. But the protagonist, he's just chilling, eating peanuts calmly. Tortuga goes in for a strike, but she dodges it with flair. She lands behind him and gets ready to attack Tsubai, who let his guard down. Sitting there, or so she claims, right? The two fiery redheads in the crowd think Tsubai is about to get it. Her sword is just about to land. And he's still taking a sip of coke. But suddenly, she disappears after taking a tail whip from Tortuga. The school crowd is kind of used to this by now. And the fabulous Zhang Zuan is now lying completely wrecked on the ground. Tsubai approaches, saying she was obviously going to attack him. And he had already told Tortuga to be ready. To everyone's disappointment, she leaves the arena. Could have fought a little longer. Right? Tsubai tells the next one to come up already. Seems like it was another girl who entered, got wrecked, and ended up on the floor. Our boy is basically streaming live combat via Tortuga at this point. Not long after, his school is declared the winner. He walks off the arena, thinking he kind of looked bad since he didn't do anything himself. But the important thing is everyone at the school is praising him, saying he did a great job. Meanwhile, in the locker room of Fuan University, the coach is saying that if they go up against Zhang Xiao, they'll definitely send in Tsubai. He tells the team captain, a poison user, to keep his distance. The guy says not to worry. All the coaches are warning their students to be careful with Tsubai. Getting past him won't be easy. After discussing strategies, the second round is set to begin. The audience is commenting that Zhang Xiao only needs Tsubai, no one else, which obviously is making the rest of his team feel kind of down. The next match is drawn, and Tsubai's up again. It's his school versus the team from Simon. The other guy is stretching, warming up, while our boy tells him to take it easy. But then glasses guy, Le Fang, tells him to stop acting cocky. He activates his technique, clean step, and starts leaving clones behind. Tortuga ends up hitting the wrong target, and Le Fang manages to land a kick on him. But here's the problem. You're kicking the shell of a turtle, of course. Nothing happens. Seems like this Le Fang dude is famous. The waifu crowd in the stands is all cheering for him, shouting for him to defeat Tsubai. And the bastard actually seemed to be getting under Tortuga's shell. The third-year student in the back noticed he was trying to distract the beast and drag it far from Tsubai. But our protagonist, totally chill, still sipping his coke, after dodging a few more strikes, Le Fang finds an opening where even Tortuga's tail attack couldn't reach him. He's about to land a flying kick to Tsubai's face when suddenly a golden illusion explodes in the sky. He gets frozen midair. It was the final form illusion of Tortuga, and the fool was being pulled in straight into the mouth where he got blasted with a laser and launched into the stands. That's dangerous. He could have killed a spectator. The crowd already realized that poor Le Fang didn't stand a chance. And since he was the strongest in his university, his principal immediately says their best option is to forfeit. With that, Zhang Xiao University moves forward. And now they face the team from Fuan. The crowd cheers, at least this way. Tsubai saved a lot of energy. Now it's time for a match between their captain and our boy. The captain, who's clearly from League of Legends, is named Makai. He tells Tsubai to take it slow. He's not really in the mood to fight yet. He admits that Tsubai is quite powerful. So how about they make a deal instead? Tsubai wants to know what kind of deal. The guy, activating something on his back, says he'll tell Tsubai what the biggest weakness of beast tamers is while he keeps powering up. Our boy is completely confused until his expression suddenly changes. And he says he's sure the bastard is just trying to stall for time. Right away, he orders Tortuga to go on the attack. But Makai says it's already too late for him to realize. A green smoke starts spreading, and the guy says there's no escaping it now. Unfortunately, Tortuga gets surrounded by the smoke. People begin to realize that this damn Maokai had been underestimated. While Tortuga holds his breath, Maokai walks by, saying that inside the smoke, he isn't affected at all. Tsubai, he claims, no longer has a chance to win, he just has to finish him off now. And he'll have won the whole tournament. He notices Tsubai's frozen expression and says it looks like the kid didn't manage to resist. Already turning his back, he says goodbye and wishes him a peaceful end. But what Makai doesn't know is that Tsubai has damage protection and sharing, which makes him immune as long as the turtle remains unharmed. The fool doesn't understand why Tsubai isn't being affected. And the mustache man comments that's the confluence origin. Basically, it's a high-level beast tamer talent that allows them to transfer all damage to their beast. While Maokai is still confused, Tsubai says it's time to wrap this up because the smell of this mist is awful. That's when Maokai realizes Tortuga is getting closer. Next scene, he's being kicked clean out of the arena. Yanran cheers, saying she knew he wouldn't disappoint. Now the whole crowd is chanting Tsubai's name. With Maokai defeated, Fuan University forfeits, and our boy is crowned champion of the provincial league. Right away, the mustache man starts praising him, saying he brought glory to Zhang Xiao University. Of course, Tsubai isn't dumb. He says this time the reward better be good. But the fat guy isn't dumb either. He already expected this kid would try to drain his resources. I don't get why this stinky man wants to save so much when our boy is clearly the GOAT. Now he wants to hand everything over to the military, saying he'll give Tsubai contribution points, and then he can buy whatever he wants at the school shop. The others, who didn't even fight, look a little awkward, wondering if they'll get anything at all. The fat guy, of course, wants to give no points to anyone and tells them they'll talk about it in 3 days. Then he's already walking away, telling them to rest up and enjoy the break. Subai realizes that the sneaky bastard disappeared the moment people started talking about rewards. Back at the university, the announcer is already declaring the winner of the provincial tournament, the one who single-handedly defeated 3 schools. Girls in the city are now dying to meet the Subai. Now our boy was arriving at the academy, for someone with that bodybuilder physique since chapter 1. He barely goes to that cursed place. Drop the secret. Bro, I want that too. As soon as he gets there, he's calling for Rice, saying he's going to give him everything he earned, which sadly isn't much, but since the kitty is lower level, the evolution kicks in. Rice advances to early bronze tier. Now he's looking a bit more unique. From cute little kitten to full-on abandoned alley cat. After eating everything he got from the tournament, Rice had evolved again. He was bigger and stronger. And here comes another evolution. Now Subai is actually impressed. The damn cat is now 5 meters tall. Already mid-bronze tier with 295 agility. As always, Subai is happiest because he gets a cut of all those stats. He's petting the big boy, calling him a good boy. Meanwhile, in the imperial capital, someone is watching footage of the match, saying this Subai is very interesting and seems to be full of secrets. He orders an investigation into the boy, saying Subai might be even more promising than the legendary Lufan. 3 days later, back at the competition, the one he won. Right, that was just the provincial level in Jiangshao. Now it's time to face universities from more distant regions. Walking around the venue, our boy wonders why a part of the arena feels so empty. An old man explains that one of the martial universities dropped out. Whoever gets matched against them will automatically advance to the next round. Subai is praying he doesn't get matched with those guys because he wants to fight so he can gain more military power and buy stuff to nurture his beasts. But this time, his friends and the tight suit girl say they want to participate because otherwise, they won't get anything again. And with that, the host starts announcing the next round. And obviously, since the protagonist wants to fight, he's paired up against the guys who didn't show up. So the match is cancelled. He's crushed, but the teacher is celebrating, saying they advance without a scratch. And so, amazing matches start taking place in the arena. 2 hours later, the next bracket is about to be announced. And it looks like the university matched up against our boys' team decided to forfeit the match. Obviously, everyone's suspicious, saying something's fishy here. Jiangshao University keeps advancing, and they haven't even stepped on the stage yet. The summer girls over there are all furious, saying the tournament system is totally unfair. But the military representative steps in and says they've already investigated, nothing shady is happening. So the competition would continue as planned. The mustache man is celebrating, while Subai is just wondering how he's going to feed his beasts if he doesn't earn any points. Another hour passes, and now it's Jiangshao University versus Lance University. They were finally going to fight, and the opposing team captain tells everyone to calm down because their luck has run out. The first to step into the arena would be Lu Yonghao, and from there, the matches would follow that order, with our boy Subai appearing last. Everyone's excited to finally fight, but Subai is devastated, knowing he probably won't earn a single point again. Lu Yonghao steps into the arena, acting like he's going to dominate, but he gets paired with a mid-bronze level guy and just gets wrecked. Next up is Baming Bing, who manages to put some pressure on his opponent. Then comes Wan Qikong, the beauty of the school, and she just demolishes the guy with a whip. The crowd's cheering, while Subai is just sitting there, miserable, as this girl is beating everyone to a pulp. Then it's the third-year student's turn, and he challenges 2 opponents at once. Of course, people are mad, telling him to stop acting arrogant and warning he'll lose miserably. The host says that the rules do allow one person to challenge more than one opponent. So the match would begin. Once again, Subai is bummed. If this guy wins, he won't earn any points either. Now the third-year guy is prepping a spell and apologizing. He activates a strange blue tree, and its leaves start flying toward the 2 opponents. They clearly have no clue how to deal with it. Subai's impressed, saying the guy has some pretty impressive psychic techniques. People in the stands are amazed that Jiangshao University really has so many powerful students. The fools in the arena just stand there, waiting for the leaves to pass. Yeah, probably the worst possible move. The man from Alcreams keeps focusing energy, hurling plant attacks, and then stops. And sure enough, both morons get launched out of the arena. Come on, that was pathetic. At least Jiangshao University wins, which is great for the third-year guy but terrible for our boy, who once again gets nothing. Strangely, the mustache man tells the third year he did well, but the true hero of the competition is Subai. Just like the protagonist, I'm confused. Why are they hyping him up so much? The fat guy says it was thanks to Subai's presence that 2 teams forfeited their matches, and that's why he favors the boy. I'm just as confused as our dear Subai. Look at that face. He's got no idea what this guy is even saying. But everyone else doesn't care, they're just celebrating the win. That's it then, the scene shifts to the Lin family mansion. And someone's calling for Yanran. Yo, look who's back, guys. Remember that one story with the guy who had 100% drop rate? And he kept forgetting character eye and hair color? Yeah, he's back. Yan suddenly is now a brunette with yellow eyes, far as I remember. She had red hair and bright blue eyes. But hey, we can still appreciate those beautiful kicks she's throwing. The bearded guy nearby says that ever since she saw Subai's performance, she's been training like a maniac. And right then, she turns around and tells Uncle Wuan that the pills he gave her are almost gone. And she needs more. The old man walks away, thinking he has no idea why this girl is so obsessed with Subai. Tons of insanely rich millionaires in the city have tried to win her over. And she's rejected them all. To be honest, she's doing the right thing. She knows he's clearly the protagonist of this story. 7 days pass, and now we're in the Magic City. People are all placing their hands on a gigantic golden monument. Subai arrives too, saying that thing must have cost millions. The chubby guy agrees, it costs 1.8 billion. It took over 20 gold-level experts and 5 platinum-level ones to build it. This structure represents the power and strength of the university. Then a man named Zhang Ming shows up and introduces himself as the vice president of the Magic University. He welcomes everyone and tells them to enjoy their time. Apparently, the Zhang Shao crew wasn't impressed. After all, their university president came all the way here, and these guys just sent the vice president to meet them at the door. As they're walking around, Subai points at a building and asks what it is. The guy explains that it's a training center with gravity adjustment. Subai immediately elbows the mustached man, saying if they had something like that, they could massively improve training back at their school. Finally, they arrive at the place. And this university really does feel like a city. It's massive. The building has 24 floors and serves every kind of cuisine from around the world. The guy says the food is unlimited. Subai asks if he's sure. The guy confirms. Yes, unlimited, but if he doesn't know what's coming, Subai is definitely about to unleash his beasts on that buffet. And right away, he takes off running, shouting that Tortuga is going to feast. The guy's just standing there, wondering if this kid's been starving to death or something. That's when someone tells him they have no idea how much that turtle eats. With that, everyone rushes into the restaurant. And then the next day arrives. Already in the arena, it's getting packed. Maybe those 15 heads drawn earlier were intentional. The students from the protagonist school are all impressed, since the place is way fancier. The chubby guy with the mustache is starting to get annoyed that the students are loving this other school, telling them to stop acting like they've never seen the world before. Besides, it was good for him to be prepared. From now on, there were 3 extremely powerful enemies to face. Also, enemies that work directly with the military would advance straight to the top 4. Yeah, people think that's unfair, and so die. You guys over there are all training. Come fight then. What, you scared? Until the headmaster explains that this martial academy is actually located right on the front lines. If our boys' school already had everyone dying, that one must be. People are spooked. Trying to understand why the hell someone would build an academy on the front lines makes no sense. But the chubby guy tells him not to worry about the details. He just needs to understand that anyone still alive over there must be really talented. Yeah, that makes sense. With that, the host tells everyone to get ready because the competition was about to begin. The first match would be Zhang Shao versus Yokohama. So it's our boys, they're all pumped. That's because this Yokohama group is on equal footing with them. So they're dying to face off. Liar Subai says no. He's going first to uphold the honor of their academy. Obviously, he's full of it, since he's lying. He just wants to rack up points. And here we are, already in the arena with a guy asking if he's that Subai. He even throws a thumbs down, saying it's impressive he made it this far. But his journey ends here. Subai completely ignores him and summons Tortuga, who appears giant in the middle of the arena. To the rest of the world, Subai is still kind of unknown. No one had any idea this guy was a beast tamer. Now the thumbs down guy is like, this creature is kind of too big for a competition like this. Before he could even land the first hit, he had already jumped out of the ring. Our boy's disappointed, didn't even have time to grab anything from his backpack. Meanwhile, the poor martial artist says the world is kind of unfair. The girl in the black dress on the stage says it's really humiliating. This kid brought a little chair into the arena. But others comment that only people who haven't seen his previous matches say that. Now comes a big-handed girl in a long dress, warning that those damn Zhang Shao brats are humiliating them and will pay for it. She goes in to throw a punch, just gets blasted in the head by Tortuga's laser. Every second that passes, people are hating Subai more and more, and he's not even moving from that little chair. But the headmaster is beaming, saying his academy is gaining amazing fame thanks to this kid. That's when a third-year guy says not to get too excited because soon Subai will face a real challenge. In a nearby arena, a bald guy jumps at the red-haired one, and everything explodes, all swag out with his little gloves. The guy says he went a bit overboard. The headmaster immediately realizes that guy is at the peak of silver rank, which definitely won't be easy. Everyone's shocked because normally silver rank is only reached after graduation. But in the middle of all that, Subai is over there winning without even using a single attack yet. Two guys start arguing, saying, "You're going to make the kid taste defeat." One of them walks in with his hand in his pocket, saying Subai got lucky. But too bad he's up against him now. Our boy realizes this one is silver rank too and is curious to see how strong he really is. The enemy smiles, activates a blue aura, and says Subai is about to experience the power of a silver rank. He sends a tornado flying at Tortuga, and it actually looks like the poor thing's struggling because of the pressure from the attack. He ends up kind of stuck in the gravity field, and the guy takes the chance to go around behind Subai. He throws a crescent-shaped strike, saying goodbye to the kid while he's drinking his soda. Actually, he doesn't throw just one, he follows it up with a whole combo. And smoke starts to rise. Obviously, he's all confident, but we already learned you can't just ignore Subai's turtle. There he is, completely untouched, thanks to that ability to redirect damage to the big beast. The guy realizes it's damage synchronization but has no idea how some amateur like Subai has a skill like that. Turns out, it's a divine technique from that Lu Fan guy, the legendary beast tamer. But Subai doesn't explain anything, he just asks where all that confidence went. Then he pulls Tortuga back into the backpack and sends out Rice onto the battlefield. Says he wants to see him shine after eating all that food. Obviously, since the guy sees the untransformed creature, he really thinks the kid brought a kitty to the fight. At least the girls in the crowd are excited, saying it's cute. The friends, on the other hand, are wondering if Subai has completely lost it and is trying to get himself beaten. Yanren is feeling unsure too, but the headmaster tells her to stay calm. He's certain that's no ordinary cat. The guy then tells our boy to hurry up and bring out the turtle because this is going to be boring. Until the creature starts transforming and activates its aura. The guy looks scared for a second, he seems to recognize the roar. Before he can react, the big cat transforms and launches an attack. That's when everyone on the stage realizes, right, that it's another special creature, not just a regular pet. That third-year dude isn't even impressed, he's just smiling, saying, it's amazing Subai tamed another one. I told you, the hair color swap queen had returned. Yanran's got purple hair now. But earlier it was brown. And everyone's shocked because it looks like taming two creatures is super rare. Rice, with a quick move, is already behind the chump. The guy turns and lands a slash. But it was just an illusion. And now Rice is behind him again. The guy is confused, especially since Subai is just standing there doing nothing. He decides to finish the kid off since he's not moving. But obviously, the moment he attacks the protagonist, he becomes the prey and gets slammed by a paw, sent flying and exploding against the wall. With that, Jiangshao University takes another win with Subai. No one expected a silver rank to get dominated that easily. And those ladies on stage can't stop being into the guy. Too bad he's got Yan, he's a loyal boy. And there he is, feeling himself, throwing finger signs in the air, soaking in the compliments. The judges are confused, trying to figure out when this kid even joined Jiangshao University. It seemed like not even the top students from the capital would stand a chance. Meanwhile, in the Imperial University area, the dudes are drinking wine while watching the championship, saying that if they go up against this kid, it won't be easy at all. The captain of the Imperial Academy, named Ka Zixuan, says that whoever faces him better beat the kid to death. His buddies agree, saying that damn hillbilly needs to be taught a lesson. Meanwhile, back in the arena, Subai wins another one, and the bad boy, look at that kitty go, beating up that poor girl. Now that I noticed, she's got a star on her face. Just like Ahsoka, even the same hair color. I think the author's got some peculiar preferences. And so the matches continued, and Subai kept winning and winning. Everyone on the stage was shouting his name again, while the headmaster was crying to the heavens in pure emotion. After the matches, he went back to his friends, who were all praising him. At least his friends don't seem jealous, right? They're not trying to bring him down, they're just a bit sad that they haven't gotten to fight much. The stinky headmaster, though, is always sucking up but never hands out any actual items. Still, on the bench, the guy says that making it to the top 4 completes their mission. So everything's fine now, they can rest easy. The reward will be good. But Subai is confused. What do you mean the mission is complete? There are still matches left to be fought. The headmaster tells him it's better not to even think about going up against the top 3 because that'd be pure madness. Suddenly, Subai stands up and tells them to look at that gate over there that cost 1.8 billion. If they don't take down those bastards, they'll never be able to have something that extravagant too. They should aim for the top 1 and rebuild the entire university. That was enough to get the losers hyped up, even though they'll probably just get beat up and sit there watching the boy do everything. The headmaster says that since they're all fired up like that, fine, he'll go back and prepare for tomorrow. But as they leave, he's thinking that tomorrow they'll wake up to reality and understand the gap between the top 3 and the rest of the world. Meanwhile, in the Dragon Nation's military base, the guys at the task desk are all watching the tournament. Right, since they need new freshmen to join the fight. And the commander stands up and tells everyone that as soon as the competition ends, they'll attack the races coming out of the gates. And of course, they'll take all the students with them. As always, try and get everyone killed. The old dudes are pounding their chest, saying they'll avenge everyone who died. But to be honest, it's your fault. You bastards keep sending untrained kids to the battlefield. Next morning, in the hotel of the goat, he's there doing his cultivation on the bed while his little beasts are munching away. The good thing is, whatever the beasts absorb gets converted into his stats, so the boy's aura is already bursting. But then, in a blink, he appears right in front of the food plate. He's kind of confused. And the system says he just learned the transposition skill. Within a 1 kilometer radius, he can now swap places with his creatures. Looking over at the couch, he realizes that's why Tortuga is sitting there. He finds it odd he almost ate turtle food. But whatever, more and more skills are always welcome. With his little backpack and both pets on his shoulders, it was time to challenge the strongest schools. The announcer says she's bringing out the pride of the military academy. The base of the Great Wall Guardians. Founded in 1907, every student and mentor from that academy has fought countless battles on the front lines. And their motto is, as long as the thousands of monster races exist, the wall shall never fall. The old guy with the cape is named Nick King, and he's a king-level expert. On stage, everyone is hyped, apparently. These guys are always a delight to watch. What the chubby dude finds strange is that they have very few members. But everyone says that's always the case, they barely need many people to win. The announcer then announces the first fights. The first will be the Military Academy versus the Martial Academy. And the second will be the Martial Academy versus Zhang Shao. Looks like Martial Academy just means some random school. Right, since there are several. Ka Zixuan is getting a massage. Saying fighting these weaklings is always boring. And it looks like the Red Skirt Girls team will face Zhang Shao. They're already talking trash, saying beating them will be almost humiliating. The first person then enters the stage. This dude came fully geared up. Bro, looks like his entire armor is made of golden beast cores. That's kind of broken, isn't it? But no one cares. They're just excited to see one of the strongest in action. A poor guy from the Martial Academy enters the field too. But honestly, just by gear alone, he already lost. At least he's got a few girls cheering for him. Our boy is a cursed glutton. He doesn't get why girls like this weirdo. He not only wants Yan, he wants to ignore all women and still have them want him. What a bastard. He pats his buddy on the shoulder, telling him to go first and show what he's got. The military guy, however, powers up all his gear and tells the other to come at him. That Wang Yang guy from the Martial Academy charges in with his spinning blue spear attack. From afar, you can see the impact. It looks like it hit the armor dead on. Seems he's way more agile than the pay-to-win guy, but he's not doing much damage. Suddenly, the military guy smirks and says he found an opening. The spear starts glowing with energy, and he unleashes a ground-splitting strike. Wang Yang gets blasted away instantly. The commentators say that's a skill that would take down a diamond-level enemy. Turns out the armored guy is called Hansen, and the red-haired announcer says there's a reason he's ranked number 1 in the military. Wang Yang gets ready for another attack and charges again with the same move. But Hansen just says that's the worst decision he could have made. Once again, the entire stage explodes, and this time, yeah, pay to win wins. With that beginner gear of yours, you did all right, my dude, but it was never going to happen. But dang, talk about a beast, he's still standing, even though his little spear's all bent. And right after I praise the bastard, he forfeits. And with that, Hansen moves on to the finals. Everyone's impressed, saying the military guys are clearly on another level. That's when the first guy from our university steps forward. Our boy, to face someone named Zhang Lika. That dude looks exactly like that captain from Black Clover. The green one, right, spitting image. And before he can even start his speech, our guy from the university charges and misses the first strike. Takes a combo of slashes. And it's already over. He tries to counterattack, but the guy dodges and lands another slash to the back. Yanren is telling the headmaster they should make the boy surrender, that this is humiliating. But Subai says he's fighting with everything he's got, defending their honor. They can't ask him to quit like that. However, on stage, Leo tells the guy to give up already before he gets killed. The second he says he won't accept defeat. He takes a hit to the chest and another flurry of slashes. Poor thing tried to hang in there, but then the guy carves something into his back with his blade. Poor dude. Obviously, everyone is shocked, saying that Modu University went way too far. That's when the second guy from our boys team, named Bamming Bing, steps up. The enemy smirks and says another one's coming, but this one doesn't seem like much fun either. Bing launches the first attack. The guy easily dodges it with total swag. He places his little sword down to steady himself, then turns and lands a nasty kick. At least Bing blocks it, and the brawl begins. Everyone on stage is shocked. How are these freshmen this strong? Even Leo's expression is changing. Bing goes in for another attack, but suddenly the guy vanishes and traps him from behind. Well, was he pressing up against the guy? That sword fight took a turn I wasn't expecting. Bing takes it seriously and lands a dual-edged sword strike. Stabbed himself and the other guy. This guy does not like losing, he's dead serious. Of course, Leo asks if he's lost his damn mind and why he's trying to kill himself. But Bing just says that if both of them die, that's good enough for him. That freaks Leo out. He thought the kid was going to slash both of them at once. Then suddenly, a teacher shows up and announces that Modu University has lost. Right then, the mustache guy draws his sword, and Bing's left there bleeding. The mustache guy goes off, calling them a bunch of shameless cowards. They wanted to humiliate their university. But the moment they were about to lose, they pulled this move and stopped the fight. But the old guy with the servant face just told them to quit thinking too highly of themselves. Just the fact that they were even facing Modu was already more than they deserved. And with that, he walked off, saying if they wanted to settle something, do it in the arena. The mustache guy was fed up and said it was time for Subai to handle things. And of course, our boy was fired up and ready for it. While poor Bing was being carried off, Ka Zixuan told the president he wanted to go in and teach that brat a lesson. But the man said no. He'd go last. A sir stepped into the arena and announced that Modu would apologize to Zhang Xiao. But everyone watching thought that was unlikely since Modu was known for its extreme pride. Some guy stepped up, saying he entered the ring to teach that punk a lesson. Subai asked if he came to apologize. And the guy said, of course not, why would someone strong like him need to apologize to the weak? Subai then said that sending them in one by one would get boring real fast. But the only one left on Modu's team was the red-haired guy. And everyone on stage knew he was a genius. Subai, on the other hand, asked if he was so scared that he didn't want to take part in a 2-for-1. Immediately, the servant-looking guy told him to get on stage and humiliate that brat in the arena. Ka Zixuan said if the boy wanted to be embarrassed, he'd be happy to help. He activated a red and blue aura and said today would be the most humiliating day of Subai's life. Apparently, those swords he uses are extremely rare and famous in this world. And everyone's talking about how the university must be insane to be investing that much in a single student. Then Zixuan tells our boy to hurry up and summon his pets before he dies without doing anything. But for the first time, Subai says he doesn't need his pets to deal with these two. Just by the glow, you can tell he's drawing stats from both his creatures. Obviously, everyone's unsure. What can a beast tamer do without his beasts? Zixuan charges in, saying the kid is definitely asking for death. But Subai just says they're way too impatient. Then he starts activating all the powers from both Rice and Tortuga. He gets ready and says now he'll settle things with Modu once and for all. His first attack lands clean on the bald guy's face, sending him flying. Zixuan manages to stop before getting hit too. But he doesn't understand how this is even possible. People on stage can't believe how a tamer's body can be that strong. Then the protagonist asks if Zixuan is ready to apologize. Activating both sword auras again, Zixuan says he respects the boy's strength, but he won't leave that arena alive. Then he launches a lava expiration slash. But our boy uses Raya's ability and dodges cleanly. Before the bald guy can react again, he takes another elbow, a punch to the chest, and an uppercut. Subai says he's going to land one hit for every slash Bing took. Although, honestly, the worst slash Bing took was the one he gave himself. Right, losing his mind, Zixuan sends out a double slash. But thanks to Raya's power, dodging and getting behind him was easy. Landing a hit to the spine. The guy ended up all twisted. Our boy then asks, where's the strength of the great Modu University now? He goes in for a hammer strike. But Zixuan manages to block it with both swords. Still, the impact launches him to the ground. And now he's under Subai's foot. Then suddenly, the ground explodes, and Subai's foot catches fire. Ka Zixuan seems to be transforming now, saying today he will kill the kid. Outside, the mustached guy and the others are starting to worry. This is getting dangerous. Zixuan charges with both swords for a slash at Subai. But this time, our boy uses Tortuga's defense ability. The guy's confused, his attack did nothing. And the protagonist says, now it's my turn. Another clean uppercut, and the chump drops both swords and hits the floor. The fact that a gold-level arena is being destroyed has the commentators freaking out. And the other losers are saying this boy really reminds them of the legendary Lufan. Subai is a beast among beasts. He walks over to pick up the fallen swords, saying they look pretty valuable. Zixuan never expected to get looted in the middle of the arena and tells the kid to drop them. But our boy is not letting this slide. He says that for all the humiliation they tried to bring to Jiangshao University, he's taking these as his reward. The poor dude tries to do something with his bare hands, but Subai just dodges and knees him in the face. I thought it was over. But the moment he lands on his feet, Subai comes back and hits him with another combo. Now the folks on stage are starting to wonder if he's going too far. But Subai's fans are all cheering, saying that bastard deserves every second of it. With that, the second round is won by Jiangshao University, and our protagonist knows he's going to have to face the Hansen guy, who's standing there smiling with one eye kind of looking off. Yo, my dude, look over here, you're staring in the wrong direction. He says he's excited to fight Subai. But the little bandit is already walking out of the arena, swords in hand. No one's going to question this. Of course, the moment I say that, the servant guy shows up, telling him to give the swords back, calling him a thief. Our boy is hiding them behind his back like a kid, saying, no, they were left in the arena, so he's taking them. Shouldn't have tried to humiliate him. But he's not that cruel of a guy. If Modu apologizes, maybe he'll return the swords. Now the whole crowd is flipping off the old man, telling him to just apologize already because Subai is right. The old man, of course, calls the kid arrogant and says that makes no sense. But the people from Jiangshao are telling him to just obey. or he's losing the swords. And then, bam, the old man activates his aura, saying he's going to teach these immature brats a lesson. The mustache guy tells Subai to run. But wait, who the heck is that military guy? This story is getting weird. Is this some historical reference? What's going on? Turns out that guy is the president of the military university. Everyone starts yelling at the old guy to stop as he slowly approaches Subai. At that point, the three headmasters start arguing. Two of them defending Subai and the old one telling the military dude not to interfere. All three auras are clashing in the middle of the arena until a white-haired man in a cloak shows up. That's Xiao Yi, a lord-level expert ranked number 6. He tells the old guy it's shameful for the Hedron Academy to attack a junior from another like that. And just like that, he forces the old man to bow and apologize to Subai. He says he thought Subai's match was impressive and apologizes for the weirdo old man too. The motto of the martial university is that only the strong survive. A righteous person should be like the legendary Lu Fan, possessing unmatched power and using it to protect the nation. The old man's behavior was a serious mistake. Then Xiao Yi leaves, saying the old guy will lose his position as president and become an instructor. On stage, everyone's saying Zhang Shao University is unstoppable this year. The friends are all praising our boy, saying he's the pride of the school. I still can't believe everyone's actually chill. Normally, there's always that one envious jerk. I don't know why, but I feel like that third-year guy is eventually going to turn into a scumbag. But for now, he's being cool. The problem now is that they'll have to face the military university in the finals. Which is crazy. The headmaster wants the boy to rest. But Subai says he barely fought. He's eager for this fight. The only thing he wants is a little reward now. Mustache guy finally opens up, saying he has some personal beast cores he can give the boy. An hour passes, and everyone's cheering for Hansen. The pay-to-win guy walks onto the arena with his $3 billion armor, saying he's excited for the fight with Subai. He proposes they settle it in a single round, and our boy agrees. Then he decides to check the guy's stats, and just his constitution is sitting at 316. Before he can look any further, Hansen tells him to start moving. Now Subai is glowing like a rainbow. He's got red from one sword, blue from the other, green from the turtle, and yellow from the cat. Yeah, I said yellow. Damn, what a brain glitch. I meant yellow. And with his yellow glow, he's dodging everything. Problem is, that bastard Hansen isn't weak either. His attacks aren't doing much damage. The commentators, always sucking up to the military, say Hansen really has no weak points. They claim there's no one in this generation who would stand against him. Subai tries to land another punch, but the guy dodges easily and says he's nowhere near fast enough. He goes for a slash, but our boy manages to retreat too. The yellow boost is really working. He crouches and strikes again. And boom, he lands a punch that's allowed. You cruel little menace. Strangely, the crowd on stage loved it, calling it a shameless move. But hey, it works. Looks like that armor isn't all gold down there. Huh? Now the boy's shaking like a worm. Subai seizes the moment, hits him in the arm, slamming him into the ground. But that didn't make Hansen too happy. He gets up with a purple aura, saying he's gathered all the info he needs to win. Then he unleashes a barrage of attacks, saying there's no way Subai can dodge at all. The commentators are quoting 16 Bibles. But I don't care. And our boy's taking a full hit. And the armor is starting to crack. Dang, it really cracked Tortuga's defense shield. And Hansen's getting impatient, telling Subai to stop holding back and show his real strength. He doesn't believe the kid's that weak. Brutal. Even the headmaster now sees our boy doesn't stand a chance like this. That's when the rascal grabs his backpack, saying that if it's come to this, he has no choice. Right then, he summons Tortuga and Rice, saying now he wants to see Hansen try to win. Hansen thanks him, saying he's been looking forward to fighting him at full power. Our boy charges in with both pets to land a flying kick, but the guy dodges. Meanwhile, Rice comes in from above for a strike, and Hansen catches it. But then, Tortuga finds an opening from the side and bam, hits him so hard the whole armor cracks. Sucks to suck, he got launched. And now he's out there, totally exposed. Subai tells him to admit defeat, says it wouldn't be shameful. But Hansen says, I didn't want to use this power because I can't control it properly. But now I've got no choice. His aura starts rising up to the sky, and Subai wonders if this bastard is even human. Even the system chimes in, warning of extreme danger. And then Hansen says, alright, kid, make sure to like this video. That helps Mamoru make more juicy content for his viewers. Activate the cheeky little bell, and I'm ready to show you my true power.